Saw a tweet from CCM. Love these guys. That they did a video for you. Yes, they have been doing videos for us.
In this video, I'm going to be covering how we helped this guy that you know right here, who's done over $100 million when it comes to info, scaling, funnels, all that type of stuff. How I helped him scale his main company and add over $100,000 in just about 2 months by implementing our YouTube strategy. And this isn't going to be the typical YouTube advice or organic content advice when it comes to scaling, but I'm going to be going deeper past the surface level, covering how you can actually take your competitive edge and allow that to bleed throughout your content so your ICP can choose you over your competitors. I'm going to dive into not only how I come up with these content ideas, but also how I think about content in terms of a funnel so that we can create a YouTube ecosystem. And you're going to be able to take all this information and apply it to your info business. For some backstory, how did Ryan and I come in contact? So Ryan found my content on Twitter, which I highly recommend you guys follow me on there. And he just reached out. Mainly, he was concerned about his main company and growing their organic presence, but also we talked about his personal brand, and we ended up just deciding to focus on the main company. I did have a phone call with him in this vlog here that's nearly at 10K views. I was in Miami, and we were just talking about how we can work on the main channel, and he just loved the content I was putting out, and then we ended up locking in a deal. Long story short, after 2 months of working together, Ryan dropped this video. In this video, basically somebody had asked about, me and Ryan working together because they saw me posting this stuff on Twitter, and Ryan confirmed it. Not only did he confirm it, but he actually gave us a testimonial and vouch for our service, which I can plug into the video right now.
These guys, Rockstars, CCM, just asked me for a testimonial video, so I will do it right here and clip this, my guy, and you can use this one. They're doing about 4 or 5 videos a month for us right now. They are outliers. They're standing out as outliers. It is like you can directly see which ones they're making. They are doing literally everything. We're just filming. And on first click, it has generated like 9K across a range that we did 10.5 million. But on last click, it's like somewhere near like 100K.
So what I want to break down in this video is I want to cover what did we do to make this possible so that you can go ahead and replicate it for your info product business. Because when I started working with this company, they basically had a dead organic presence when it came to YouTube specifically and turning their content into cash. And they were rarely making money from the YouTube organic. Not only that, they had like nearly 100K subscribers, but they had videos that were like failing to pass 1,000 views, which, like I said, like it was terrible. Like all the stats were just going down. To now, the results look way different. We have videos doing 26K views, 10K views, 13K, 18.1K. Not only that, but this content that you see here is all turning into cash collected, which is the biggest part about it. And the system that I'm going to be covering in this video is what I like to call the YouTube ecosystem. And by the end of it, we will be able to just dominate the market on YouTube. And you can do the same if you follow what I'm about to cover. And this is specifically for you if you hate being cringe on YouTube, if you think we need hella views or subscribers to actually collect cash, which is far from the truth. We have clients that started at 300 subscribers that have now generated over 6 figures direct from YouTube, like my boy Sebastian. And this is honestly for you if you just want to get on camera, create content that you'd even watch yourself, and then being able to make thousands of dollars per month on autopilot, because YouTube basically serves as a 24/7 nurturing mechanism, sales manager that can just close leads while you literally sleep. Or don't even post content at all. We have clients like this where we will post content for a month. Next month they're a little bit inconsistent, but it's still bringing in leads, cash collecting, and nurturing people that are into the funnel. So this is done by the CCM process, and that's what I'm about to break down to you. Once again, it can be applied to any niche when it comes to selling, info products. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Step 1, everything comes down to who you want to sell to, your competitive edge, and what your ISP actually wants to watch. And I want to break this down at a pretty deep scale and cover it because I don't want to give you surface level advice. This is what we are doing actively for this client right now, because we are making active changes, which is I'm going to cover later in step 3. Highly recommend you guys stay to that because that's going to be probably the most valuable part of this video. But it's what we do also when we start with any client. So the who aspect, you want to identify who is the ICP, the ideal customer profile. Everything in our YouTube ecosystem is around the ICP. What I'm doing when I'm finding this is I'm basically thinking of content from a psychological standpoint. So I'm trying to find out how we can put your content. You'll have your content right here. So this is your content directly in front of all these little people that want to buy your stuff. That's what you want to do. We're just putting your content directly in front of who you want to sell to. And that is done by simply figuring out the psychographics of your ideal customer profile. So what I mean by psychographics is figuring out what are their pains, what are their desires, what are their fears, and what are their motivators. So you're going to find these psychographics, but it doesn't end there. You don't just want to find the psychographics and start throwing random BS at the wall. You want to basically reverse engineer these into video ideas. But once again, it doesn't just stop there. Now that you have the ideas, it doesn't just like stop there. You want to do two things. And those two things now come into what is your competitive edge? Not only what is it, but how can you allow this competitive edge to bleed throughout your content so that you can push your own propaganda? Because at the end of the day, if you look at all the top personal brands, Iman, Hormozy, Luke Belmar, all they're doing is saying the same stuff over and over again in their content. They're talking about how they're better, how they're unique, what their strategy is, how they stand out. And you must figure this out for either your brand, like this company is a brand, or for your personal brand, so for yourself. So the propaganda and the competitive edge are kind of tied together, and you basically mix this into your actual reverse engineered ideas. But on top of that, you must do what I like to call outlier research. And this comes back to, what does your ICP actually want to watch, or what do they have interest in? So with the outlier research, I mean, I use two platforms for this. I use a mix of vidIQ, then I also use Mr. Beast's tool, which is called View Stats. And on these platforms, I will go ahead and I'm looking for outliers. And when I say outliers, I can really detail you, what that kind of looks like. It's just like, an outlier is basically just a video that has more views on average than it would on a channel. Ideally, a KPI you can aim for is a 10-to-1 ratio. So let's say a channel has 10K views, but then they have 1K subscribers. That would be a huge outlier video that you can go take advantage of. So that's a KPI that you guys can stick to. There's deeper YouTube outlier research that I can go super in depth on, but I'm not going to cover in this video. You will find these outliers, and basically what you want to do with this outliers is extract their proven title format. So take from that proven title format, extract it, and then within the proven title format, now you tie in your competitive edge. So at this point, what you're basically creating is you have a reverse engineer idea. So REI into, you found an outlier, then you're extracting that format, tapping in your competitive edge, and you're just going to create content that is proven to work, but it's now also unique to you. And this is how you can make content on YouTube without being cringe, but also creating content you'd personally want to watch yourself. And we do this through all of our strategy docs and research. Like I said, it goes way deeper past this, but if you just want to understand what we actually did, this is what the process looks like. And you can obviously use AI, use the tools I've mentioned, and go extremely deep on it. So that's part one of the process. Step two, you basically want to create a YouTube ecosystem, right? But what does that kind of look like? So, I mean, for this client, I can't leak too much. I don't want to, there's already people trying to funnel hack Ryan. I don't want to dox our channel and what we're doing there. But how I like to think about this YouTube ecosystem is posting your videos through a funnel. So, I mean, we're all aware of how a funnel looks. On YouTube, I like to think about it the same way. Obviously, YouTube is seen as an entertainment platform, but I also see it as a nurturing mechanism. I see it as an ecosystem where people buy your products, and even after they buy it, they're still watching your stuff, and they're getting indoctrinated into the system of what you're pushing in your content, which is the propaganda, right? And your competitive edge and how you stand out, how you're different. And you're just being yourself. You're creating content so good that you'd watch it, and of course, they're going to want to watch it. So with this funnel, top of funnel content, middle funnel content, bottom of funnel content. Let's run through what this really means in each sector of it. So the top of funnel stuff is to grow your audience. The middle of funnel stuff is to nurture your audience, and the bottom of funnel stuff is to convert your audience. But it doesn't stop there. You have to understand the content types that work into this actual funnel. So for example, top of funnel, we're just looking to get more TAM, which is just total addressable market. You're looking to get more awareness. This can be in the form of vlogs. This can be in the form of just broad content overall. Anything that is just positioned to get more views and subscribers, or tied to a popular topic. So if you take something in your niche and then you add something trending like AI, you trend jack a popular creator in that niche, it then becomes a video that has more TAM, it's more top of funnel. Boom, so you understand what that kind of means. Middle funnel. This typically, for me, middle funnel is gonna just be like how-to content or explainer videos. So just running through your process and how you're doing something. And like I said, step 3, I'm going to talk about how we improved our middle funnel content and just a whole bunch of things within our content process itself to actually see improvement after each video and every month. Stay for that part because I feel like it's going to be the most valuable part of this video. But yeah, how-to videos, explainer videos, once again, these are to nurture the people that are coming into your funnel. And then your bottom funnel content. This ideally looks like niche deep insights, so I'll just put NDI. This can also be case study videos. So that's something that we leverage with this client. We give them our case study questions. We handle the title, thumbnail, hook, execution. We handle the entire process for them. We go ahead and execute there. And also, yeah, these are just like typically longer videos, more in-depth around a specific topic that people that already understand what you're selling would only want to watch, if that makes sense. So super specific. And we leverage this funnel. So after you've done step 1 and you understand, okay, I need to reverse engineer around my ICP, then I need to tie my competitive edge into each video I post, and then I need to do outlier research to make sure this is stuff that people actually want to watch. Boom, you have all your ideas. Once you have your ideas for the month, what you want to do is segment it within a funnel. So you have to decide, okay, I need some top of funnel videos, I need some middle of funnel videos, and I need some bottom of funnel videos. From there, you go ahead and execute. And this is what actually creates the YouTube ecosystem. And once again, the YouTube ecosystem is just like creating something so good that people will literally buy your product, and then they're going to come back to watch more, and then you can upsell them on products, you can downsell them. You can just do a whole bunch of things with the offers. And at the end of the day, you're building a brand, something, once again, people are bought into. You're pushing so much propaganda to the point where people want to watch your stuff over and over again. They're binge watching it. They're sharing with their friends. This is what you want to do on YouTube. This is how you build a true brand on YouTube. And it can apply to any other platform as well. But step 3, like I said, I think this is going to have the most important feedback for this video, is being able to constantly improve on the platform. I don't talk about this like a ton with clients, but it's something we do with every single client. What you have to do is you have to be tapped into audience feedback, and I'm going to talk to you about what we're looking for, but there's a reason why you see all these videos right here, 26K views, 10K, 13K, 8K. They're happening recently though. So this was 1 month ago, and then we have one 12 days ago, but we also had content 2 months ago, 1 month ago. We are making critiques on our content to improve every single video. I'm going to give a breakdown of what made this happen. So what are we looking for? What I'm looking for to improve as I'm posting every single video or within every batch of content is you never stop understanding what your ICP wants. You want to actually do the opposite. As time goes on, you must be heavily tapped in to what your ICP wants, because the game is constantly changing, especially on YouTube and just in your niche itself. So that's one thing that I will never stop doing. You must be tapped into your niche. And for us, our big mistake is that in our first 1 to 2 batches of content, even though we were having like videos like this that did 8.1K views, but we realized we weren't being practical enough in our videos, which once we implemented it, we had this video right here that did 26K views. And then now we have this video that did 10K views in 12 days, which you can see is way better. These 1 and 2 are performing way better than these older videos right here. And once again, it's just coming back to the fact that, okay, we're going to be tapped into not only like everything I mentioned here, like I can detail what audience feedback actually is. So when I say audience feedback, I mean comments, I mean DMs, I mean sales objections. I'll put SO. You want to be tapped into every single thing. Like anything that comes into mind and it's direct feedback from your ICP, tap into it. It could be current insights. So insights from clients. Like if you're already working with people and they're giving you feedback, you can take that feedback that they've given you and literally take all this stuff, right? And then I like to say YouTubeify it. Like YouTubeify it. And that's how I kind of think about it. And I've been mastering this like methodology over time, because once again, it's a psychological game. You're trying to put your content directly in front of who you want to sell to. And if you can take all this stuff and you YouTubeify this, so month after month, you have new insights. But on top of that, if I scroll back here, month over month, you're doing YouTube strategy. You understand the outliers that are coming in month over month. You understand the pains and desires of your audience month over month. You're going to, once again, throw into the ecosystem month over month. You're going to throw into the ecosystem month over month. And then, once again, if you can take the comments, the DMs, sales objections, insights from clients, if you can do all that month over month, alongside everything else I've explained in this video, you are going to see improvement in your content. And then with step 4, this is more practical stuff for those of you that care. I think you could just honestly work with CCM and have us handle the entire process for you like we do for Ryan Clogg's company. So the ideation, the scripting, thumbnail strategy, design, video editing, posting, we handle literally everything you can think of. But if you want to kind of do this for yourself, I did want to cover this in this video to give just like a little bit of what we actually do. So I won't go too far deep, but I'll give you an explanation of what we do. So title and thumbnail. For the thumbnail, we're going for attention. So you're going to look like what would get someone's attention. And then for the title, what would make people curious enough to click. So the click is around curiosity. And then the title is attention. So I like to put the desired outcome like in the thumbnail. So for example, for this client, what we'll do a lot with our thumbnails is like we'll use before and after, because it really applies to our niche and who we're trying to sell to. And we just target their pains and desires literally in the thumbnail. Once again, it all comes back to the ICP. For scripts, I like to leverage a simple format, but at the end of the day, you have to tie in your competitive edge into the scripts. You have to understand the wording and the language that people that you're speaking to would relate to. So this is another part of it, but I'll give you a structure for it. For this, it really just comes down to having proof in the hook, setting a plan of what you're going to cover in the video, and then giving them a promise of a reason like why should they stay and even watch this entire video. So that's for like the hook of it. For the body, what I like to stick to personally is basically having a setup what you're going to talk about in the body, give them like a mini hook into what you're going to discuss. But then you want to bring intention on like why they should actually listen to you about what you're about to discuss. Maybe cover some things that you did wrong that maybe they should avoid, or they're going to not see the results that you're about to break down. Or cover like some statistics, a story. I like to side quest the viewer. And then with the final part, just giving them solutions. So the solution is just a sauce. Like give them the advice that they need to know. Whether like whatever the case may be, right? Just give them what they need to know in that situation. Just give them whatever they need to know in that situation. So set up tension, resolution is how I kind of think about that. And for CTAs and posting cadence, when to talk about that, what I think for posting cadence for this client, we do 1x per week. We're doing 4 uploads per month, and then we like to throw in 1 to 2 like client case study interviews. So client interviews, and these help a ton with obviously the funnel. And with our CTAs, we like to do 1 to 2 CTAs per video. We typically use the CTAs like after, like during our second topic of discussion within the body of that video. So we don't do it after the first. We don't do it after the first piece of resolution. We do it after the second. So we're making a CTA after we've already given them value, if that makes sense. Just giving before you receive, a simple principle that we like to stick to. So we do that. Obviously, we have CTAs in the description, and even like sometimes we'll pin a comment. Those are tracked by Ryan and the team. And then for the description, I mean, we're just using common phrases and keywords, same with tags and all that type of stuff to hit this YouTube SEO and all that good stuff. Just overall metadata, right? We're making sure. But yeah, that's basically the process that we use to add this company over 6 figures on YouTube. I mean, it works. Ryan vouches for us for a reason. We put in tons of work to make sure it actually works. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed watching this video. If you want more content like this, let me know down below what videos you'd like to see. I have tons of other videos out. My last video, I just broke down how I built Brez a $1 million YouTube empire on his second channel. So I would recommend actually going and watching that next. Besides that, hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.